So I mostly love my NC Mazda Miata. However, I do not like the stock seat that comes with my NC. I have the Grand Touring, which is great. It means that I get these heated seats, which is awesome, but I actually do not like leather seats in general. This specific leather is super slippery, so when I'm on track, I am just flying around. On top of that, the bolstering isn't that great. There's not really a whole lot on the bottom. You have some for the sides, but I think it could be improved. And I don't know if it's because of the leather material, but these seats are seriously firm. Like they're rocks. I'm thinking the leather probably has something to do with it because my old NB Miata seats were substantially more comfortable than these. How are we going to fix that? Well, it's pretty simple. This is a Recaro Sportster CS. I got this used on Facebook Marketplace for $800. I have bought a Recaro slider and I have a seat bracket from Planted. Now, I don't know if this is actually going to work. I am genuinely going off of one existing Instagram post of someone that made this seat work. So I'm not sure. I don't know if it's gonna fit. It might not. But today we are going to attempt it and we're going to find out. So like I mentioned, I got this seat used. The guy actually used it as an office chair. I don't know, I wouldn't do that. But it doesn't really have any signs of wear and tear. It seems to be in good shape. Sitting in here is like it's an OEM plus seat. This is not a bucket seat. So the bolstering on the legs is not very aggressive, but it does hold you in up top. Just a little bit more bolstering combined with being sort of a cloth, it's going to hold me in a lot better than slippery leather. I saw a lot of recommendations online that the Sportster from Recaro is a really good, like, just OEM plus seat. And that's kind of what I'm going for, because I still drive this car mostly on the street, but I just want something a little bit better on track without going to a full bucket seat. It is also worth mentioning that I do have these sliders already installed. I went ahead and just test fit them, and I'm going to leave them on because there's Loctite and I don't want to take that out. One interesting fact about the sliders, due to our lovely government in the United States and their additional taxes on imports, the sliders are really, really difficult to find. Recaro actually stopped shipping a lot of their hardware to the States, and because of that, most of the websites that I was going on, they would say that it's back ordered or like in stock, and then it's not actually in stock. So I had to cancel orders like twice. After going and like talking to maybe 10 to 15 websites, I finally found one that had the Recaro sliders that I need. So if you are getting this seat and you need some sliders, I got mine from Dark Side Motorsports. This is the only thing that I bought from them. I don't need to rep them at all, but they had them in stock. So if you need some and you're having the same issue as me, check them. Maybe they'll have more. For the seat bracket, I'm going with Planted. No specific reason. I think this is exactly what I need. It has a loop for the stock seat belt, which I'm going to try to keep. I've never installed a seat before, so I'm learning as I go, and we're gonna see if it fits. I want to use the stock seat belt, 100%. That is a requirement for me. This is a street car. I do not want to do a harness. One other really cool thing about this Recaro seat makes it a little bit unique. Number one, you can actually adjust the tilt of the back. But number two, if you have like a coupe with back seats, you can actually put the seat down like that. And that's a pretty unique feature that a lot of aftermarket seats don't have. So that is really cool to see. It doesn't matter for my Miata, but I'm going to probably keep this seat for a while because I paid good money for it. And yeah, I would love to throw this in whatever car I have next. And having this option is really cool. So to make it a little bit easier on myself, I'm going to put the top back. I am a little bit worried with how tall that Recaro seat is compared to the stock seat. I'm worried, but whatever. We're gonna try it. We're gonna see. Next thing we need to do is disconnect the battery because these stock seats do have side airbags. So I've actually never used this before, but with my battery kit that I got from Track Dog Racing, I have this shut off, so battery should be disconnected. I don't use that very often, but that is kind of a nice little benefit of having that kit is having the battery shut off. Okay, so I'm going to start by removing the stock seat. Should be pretty simple. We just have a couple bolts to take out in the front, and then we'll slide the seat forward and remove the ones in the rear.
All right, it's not too heavy. Here is the OEM airbag sensor. To get the OEM sensor off, you're going to stick a flathead right in between here, and you'll just pry. That'll release this, and you'll just bend it back, and it comes unplugged nice and easy. I've also confirmed that the bracket that I got does fit. It matches up all of the bolt holes perfectly. So this should be good. We're going to take it, throw it on the new seat, and then we'll just test fit it real quick. Okay, for disconnecting the stock seat belt, it does have a sensor. Okay, cool, so seat belt is out. So we need to put the bracket onto the Recaro slider. Luckily, it does look like all of the bolt holes actually line up. I don't think I'll have to do any drilling, which is very, very nice. Happy to see that. Okay, so now we've got the top two on. We should be able to slide this just like so. Now we can get the back ones. Okay, I've got the bracket on. I ended up having to throw on 2 washers for this top one and bottom bolts because there is sort of this guy right here which holds the slider to the Recaro itself, and this was just a little bit too long, so I added another washer there. I think it should be fine. Ultimately, I'm just gonna throw it in the car, make sure it actually fits first before doing any of the fine tuning. Let's see if this fits. Okay, let's see. So we are aligned on the bolt holes. I'm gonna put a bolt in and then have a seat. We'll see how it feels. I'm excited. Okay, I haven't sat in it yet, but first impressions, it actually is not that much higher than the stock seat. Oh, easy, plenty of room. Okay, let's have a seat. Ooh. Okay. Interesting, okay. I mean, in terms of the seat, it is definitely comfortable. Bring it forward a little bit. Yeah, that helps a little bit. All right, I'm gonna give you a closer look at kind of how it's fitting. In terms of the height, I'm kind of surprised. Like, this is the Recaro, and you can see that it really is not that much taller. The door has plenty of room, absolutely no worries there. Plenty of room down. On the inside, it does rub up just like a touch, but I don't think that's actually much at all, if I'm being honest. The stock seatbelt is going to be pretty cramped. I'm gonna see if I can fit that in there. But I mean, so far, it does kind of just fit in really nicely. It looks so sick too. It actually fits pretty well. I'm going to plug in the car, see what sort of lights we get on the dash, and then I'm also going to put the roof back up just to see what the fitment is like. I do see, Jesus. Okay, okay, so I do see there is some rubbing with the power retractable hardtop right there. All right, apart from the obvious rubbing, I do want to test also what it's going to be like with a helmet. I actually think it's going to be fine just based on my butt feeling. Yep, no worries at all. I fit with a helmet. I've got maybe like half an inch of headroom, so that's fine. So I'm gonna take the seat out, transfer the seat belt, try to move the seat over a little bit, and maybe we'll be good. We'll see, fingers crossed. Okay, so as I was transferring the seatbelt, I found another compatibility issue. It seems like the planted bracket does not play very nicely with this. I don't know what I'm gonna do exactly with it. I don't know. I'm gonna think about this. Okay, so I ended up going to the hardware store, grabbed a locking nut. This is a 7/16 fine thread. Okay, so I've got the seatbelt on. I just ran a zip tie. It's not gonna pinch or anything like that. It should be perfectly fine. Also, I just completely realized something. So in this stock harness, it's actually just a housing. Because I removed the seatbelt, it still actually has exactly what it needs for when I put it in the car. I can just plug it in right here. Okay, so it's actually the next day. I have been driving around the Miata just for fun. I'm gonna wait for my final thoughts on the seat until I have everything perfectly buttoned up. But I actually removed the seat and I think I have a way to reduce the rubbing on the top of the seat. So like I showed in that clip before, this area is just a touch too tall and it's hitting the top of the convertible. So I need to get the seat just a little bit lower. Here's a closer look at the spacer between the slider and the bracket. I think that I can take this here spacer and go into my bucket of random stuff and I can just grab something pretty similar and throw it on. And I bet you that this is going to buy me enough clearance to make this work. I'm gonna try just replacing the rear spacers first so that there's a little bit more of a tilt rather than just lowering it fully. I don't know, I feel like that might be a little bit more natural of a seating position. I don't know, we'll see if I can make it work, but that could be a way to kind of fix that fitment. So we'll see. Here we are, it's been about a week, maybe 2 weeks since I installed the seat. What are my actual thoughts on it? So starting off with the way it looks, I think it is absolutely a gorgeous seat. Having this sort of suede material, it already matches like everything in the car. There's a lot of little bits that I've added, the previous owner have added, that basically match it perfectly to this suede material. I love the white Recaro logo, that's awesome. The seat up top is really just, it's a very good looking seat, and I think it, from far away, it fits in the Miata really well and it doesn't look that much out of place. And it's funny, it kind of isn't that out of place because overseas the NC Miata had an optional Recaro, and yeah, that would be the dream. Like, those are so sick. They're an OEM Recaro. They still have, I think, the side airbag, which makes it really just like an awesome seat. I wish that we got that in the States. I don't know why we didn't. If anyone is overseas and they're like, hey, you know, let me help this guy out, I'll buy one, like 100%. They're so sweet. The seatbelt does rub here and it makes a little bit of a noise over time. I think you could easily put a little strap with some Velcro and that would eliminate that, you know, just a piece of cloth, that would be totally fine. It's not a huge issue sort of reaching the seatbelt over. I really don't find it, you know, getting caught out of place. It just kind of sits there. This goes in front of here. This is the, I guess the incline adjustment. And so that it really does actually fit pretty well. The seatbelt does not feel like it's awkward or out of place. It seems like a good fit. The planted bracket itself is kind of hard to see, but it fit up perfectly. There is one fitment issue that really limits the amount of slider adjustment, and that is down there. You can see that is where the seatbelt attaches. This is black plastic. It's essentially the same as kind of right down there. And unfortunately, it means that the slider adjustment is very limited if you want to move the seat far up. So this is kind of the max forward that the seat can go. I'm 5'8", and this fits just about perfect for me, but I think if you're any shorter than 5'8", I do not see it working out that well in its current configuration. So unfortunately, the seat is pretty tall, and it does rub on the power retractable hardtop. I was able to fix it for my setting. Essentially, I just decreased the spacer between the seat and the Recaro slider. That bought me enough clearance to where I don't really have any rubbing at all. That being said, once you are in here, it genuinely does feel very, very fantastic. So let's go take the car for a drive. I'll tell you what it feels like from the driver's seat and if it's ultimately worth it. One thing that I really like about this specific seat is that it does have a lot of cushion to it. The material itself is pretty firm, but over like the hard bumps, and especially when you're at low speeds, I do feel like the material itself, especially like right under the butt, is really, really compliant. Even more compliant than I would say my OEM NC Miata seat is. The steering wheel, I would say, is maybe like a touch far away. I'd like it to be just a little bit closer. You know, I do think that the NC Miata does suffer in terms of ergonomics. The ND fixed a lot of little ergonomic issues. You know, especially having a steering wheel that comes forward or backward. It makes a really big difference. Shifter, though, is right where you'd expect it to be. It feels normal. Yeah, ultimately, the seating position itself is not that much different than stock in my configuration. And again, everyone's bodies are different. You know, your results might vary. I also did the clutch pedal extension. That arguably has made the largest difference of anything, and it was the most cost-effective as well. That right there really fixed a lot of my like big complaints about the seating position in the NC Miata. The clutch pedal to me was just so far away, and it had such long travel. It made it just really uncomfortable, but now it's good. Like, the pedals are good now. The bolstering of these Recaros, I would say, is more on the conservative side. I do think, so there's two different options for this Sportster from Recaro. There's one that has sort of low bolstering on the legs. That's mine. And then there's another one that has high bolstering. If I was to do it again, I would definitely get the larger of the two with bolstering for the lower body support, because I do think that the lower support bolstering is just not really there on the seat, and like, it's fine, you know, it's better than stock, I would say, but it's definitely not very aggressive. Makes it easy to get in and out of. You know, that is a pro. If this is going to be like a genuine street car for you, yeah, I think it would have its place there. But on the track, I would definitely want a little bit more for the lower body. It's still an upgrade over stock. 100% it is, but just my 2 cents there. The upper body bolstering, though, is pretty excellent. I think that's perfect and kind of exactly what I would want for an OEM Plus seat. On track, I do think that this would be very comfortable and supportive. You wouldn't be flopping around. I think that's definitely, this is a very good seat for up top bolstering. And yeah, I would just get the higher bolstering version for the lower body support. Is this the best OEM Plus seat for the NC Miata? I don't know. The seat height and just the way that everything is fitting together makes it a little bit tough. I think what I learned through this entire process, and this was my first time installing any aftermarket seat, you're going to have to compromise somewhere. OEM seats are great because usually they're very comfortable, easy to fit in, easy to adjust, but aftermarket seats are typically very supportive on track. They hold you in, but you lose some of that adjustability, some of that, you know, ease of fitting all different body types. And I don't know if it's worth keeping the seat. For me, it fits and it's fine. If anyone else drives my car, they're not really going to be able to that comfortably.
So I don't know. I'm gonna keep driving it around another few weeks, as is, and yeah, then go from there. I don't know. The nice thing is that I got the seat used on Facebook, so if I sell it, you know, I can sell it for basically the same price, which is great. Always recommend that. It's not just the best like plug and play solution for this car. I just wish we got OEM Recaros like Europe. Man, that would be so cool. I would love that so much. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that this was helpful. I took one for the team. I didn't see any posts about this seat other than one obscure Instagram post, and yeah, that was it. So now we know how it fits if you want a Recaro Sportster for your NC Miata.